The man really in the hot seat today, C.R. Kesavan of the Congress party, because he will have he won't be able to convince himself of what his government is doing. And generally it is believed, Mr. Kesavan, that the Congress party wants to disown the mistakes of the UPA government at this stage. The question is whether you will join that process of disowning the Manmohan Singh government, which may be a wiser thing for you to do in retrospect. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi of the BJP will take you on. TSR Subramaniam, former cabinet secretary. Shailesh Gandhi on the screens there, former CIC and one of India's top RTI activists. And Rahul Narvekar will be joining us from the NCP. Mr. Kesavan, why is the Congress party doing this? You know, one, that you are going ahead and trying to fill in all these vacancies in the last 15 days. Search committee of Lokpal, you messed up. Snoopgate, we just discussed. And now this new information commissioners. Are you panicking? Is this pure panic that has hit you in the last 2 weeks?
Not at all, Rajdeep. The Congress party and the UPA government is very aware that the model code of conduct has set in from March 5th. This is not a caretaker government. It's a full-fledged government which has been reposed faith by the people of India in the last elections. And we act and function according to the Constitution, and now from March 5th, according to the rules of the model code of conduct. So my question is this to you, regarding the timings of these vacancies are coming up. There was a big row about the army chief. The vacancy is coming up on July 31st. It's not that the UPA government is trying to preempt this. And let me just make one point before getting into the nitty-gritty. If you permit me, Arnab. See, they made the Navy chief appointment a big political issue. This is basically an election strategy. This is not, and I think it's also to cover Snoopgate, which I will address later. But I think with respect to the Navy chief, let me say this. It went to the Election Commission. And the Election Commission on this order dated March 27 said, with regard to defense matters, the model
so
code
you're
of
defending your interest, Mr. Kesavan.
No.
You are simply defending your interest, Mr. Kesavan. Let's take the case of information commissioners. I'd like to get in Shailesh Gandhi. You may claim to have consulted the BJP, but it's out of necessity and not a choice. As the government in power, Mr. Kesavan, you have a greater say in the appointment of the information commissioners than the opposition does. So it is in your political interest to have someone appointed right now. And therefore the presumption will be, Mr. Kesavan, that you are really scared that you need your retainers out there with respect. You need your retainers, lest a lot of information about your misdeed comes out. If you were to lose power, Shailesh Gandhi, please. Shailesh Gandhi.
No, 1 second, Arnab.
Shailesh Gandhi, please.
Let him give the floor to Shailesh ji. Arnab, you're cutting me there. You didn't even let me complete my point.
I'm asking a question here, Shailesh's view. I'll come back to you.
The first thing I would say is that this is a characteristic of all political parties in the country. Commissions, like the Information Commission, Minorities Commission, Children's and Women's, and a horde of them, Lokayuks, are meant to be our checks and balances of democracy. And all political parties, I repeat, it's not just the Congress, all political parties have been guilty of making these patronage jobs. It basically works on Sifarishbazi with no due process at all in place. And as far as the information commissioners are concerned, last election, again, the Congress had done an identical thing. Just a few days before the results, they announced information commissioner, and then once they won, they took the same person, resigned the job, and went back to the government, which was really devaluing the whole position of information commissioners. And this, all of them are guilty of, whether it's the BJP, the DMK, AIDMK, name it, whoever is in power has been misusing this. And I would believe that the BJP today, if it is a question of selecting information commissioners, must boycott any such arrangement, or the presumption will be that there is a sweet deal going on between both the parties.
But why now? Why now is the question. Sudhanshu Trivedi, how do you read it? The Congress party says, 1 minute, the Congress party, Sudhanshu Trivedi says, it is our right. We are not a caretaker government. The Prime Minister is not an acting Prime Minister. The day the Prime Minister goes on the day of the results, The day Manmohan Singh goes to Pranab Mukherjee and says, the election is over, now I resign, and you can decide who the next Prime Minister of India will be, then he becomes an acting Prime Minister, and then if these decisions are taken, you can question him. But that time has not come, Mr. Trivedi. Technically, the Congress is right.
First, I would like to refute what has been said just now, equating both the Congress and BJP misusing the institutions. I would like to put it on fact. In 1998, when our government came, we have not forced any governor to resign. On the other hand, in 2004, when UPA came, they have changed all the governors. So there is a difference. We have never misused the other institutions, and that is not the debate. Right now, why Congress has done this? In my opinion, there are two analyses. Number one, this is the first official acceptance by Congress party that they are going to be out of power. Because whatever they are doing, it's clear and categorical. They would have said, we will come into power and we will do this. Now they are benchmarking the 16th May. It means they have decided, accepted that they are going to out of power. Second thing, politics never goes by reality only, not by technicality, it goes by the perception. Government goes by the moral authority, not only by mere technicalities. Which is said in Hindi, Sarkar Iqbal se chalti hai. In the last few days, what moral authority the government is having? When you have not done the same thing in 10 years, you are trying to do in 10 days.
You tell me, the Vajpayee government called the elections early, right? In 2004, the Vajpayee government is a measure of confidence, which was later proven to be overconfidence. Decided to call the elections early. Am I correct, Sudhanshu Trivedi? So tell me, in the last 15 days and 1 month of the Vajpayee government, did Mr. Vajpayee put a lock and key on the government and say, government stops work, all files stop, all movements stop, all appointments stop,
and we paid
everything
the price
comes
for
to a
that.
stop? Did that happen, Mr. Trivedi?
But I am saying, had we done anything during the process of election? We have not. This is the question of the moral authority of the government. Few days back, left with your government in power, and you are trying to make even the search committee of Lokpal. You are trying to appoint an inquiry. You are trying to appoint the information commissioner.
Illegal?
What type of moral example you are giving to the people of this country?
Arnab,
I said there are three things: legal, constitutional, and moral. You can get an escape route in technicalities and legalities, but on the issue of moral value, you are standing totally naked and exposed.
Sir, what moral value, Mr. Sudhanshu Trivedi? When Murli Manohar Joshi says that you cannot even appoint the Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, you cannot even appoint the Secretary to the Department of Science and Technology. So what do you want the government to do? Which means you want to make political appointments to these positions after you come in? Are you coming into government to put your chosen people in the job?
I am not saying on secretary you can go ahead with that. But if you are appointing the inquiry commission, if you are appointing the search committee of such an important post like Lokpal, and moreover, in the last 10 years they are going with the same pattern, misusing the appointed officers in their favor. Now they have disappointed the entire people of India for 10 years. Now they are trying to have some face covered by some appointments. So that in the coming government they should have some sort of room to manage or maneuver their things.
Your real problem is snoopgate. TSR Subramaniam, is this illegal what the government is doing?
No, I think, Arnab, it is not technically illegal, but surely it is immoral. I think it is against all canons of decency, and it also begs credibility. Let me make two short points. I remember in 1998, when I was to retire in December, then Prime Minister Gujarat gave me extension for 3 months because he wanted the new government to come in and choose his cabinet secretary. 2004, for the first time, a cabinet secretary, Kamal Pandey, was thrown out of his job, even though he had a tenure still left. He was yet to retire by the then incoming government in 2004. We now have the phenomenon everywhere, in states and in center. New government comes and throws people out. Sadly, are we now going to have a brand new phenomenon again, that in states everywhere, outgoing government now packs every post, encourages a new government? Are we now going to brand officers also as political? In this case, Even if good officers are appointed or good people are appointed to these posts, they will be branded as congressmen, and there will be a genuinely legitimate demand, so to speak, to have them thrown out. I think we need now some morality. I have seen public sector agencies, corporations, statutory jobs kept vacant 6 months, 1 year, 2 years to suit people, to ensure that officiating people continue, and this kind of a crashing urgency when elections are on. I am not saying who is going to come to power, who is not. I think it is unseemly, it is terrible, it is in bad taste, this is not in public interest.
Leaving a bad taste in the mouth.
The parties
That's
have
strong
only
arguments from Mr. Subramaniam. Mr. Kesavan, Mr. Subramaniam's argument backed with arguments of his own experience puts you completely on the back foot, and therefore before I come to you tonight, I'd like to give one opportunity to Rahul Narvekar. The fact is, Rahul Narvekar, let's take the case of the Lokpal. Let's take the case of the Lokpal, Rahul Narvekar. You are a lawyer, and I hope that you will use your legal rather than your political hat tonight. The government, the fact is, eminent people like Justice K.T. Thomas, Fali Nariman have refused to head the search committee. Justice Thomas says, I can't be part of the search committee. Fali Nariman says, I cannot be part of the search committee because the recommendations of the appointment of a Lokpal can be overridden by the selection committee. Why then is the government in such a rush? Is there a sense of worry, Rahul, that we are going, someone else will come, quickly get our people in the key jobs where we can manage the system with our chosen people because we have smelt defeat? Is this being done because the UPA government has smelt defeat? Mr. Kesavan, don't run away from the critical issue. That's the issue, Rahul, that you smell defeat.
Let me answer. Can I answer?
And therefore you are in a state of panic making these appointments.
Not at all. We are confident to win.
Rahul.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. First and foremost, Arnab, I don't know what's the problem. I mean, the government is only doing what they're supposed to do. They've been voted in to form the government, to make these appointments, to appoint people, appoint bureaucrats at the right position. Now tell me which rule book says that this government is not competent or does not have the authority to make these appointments, one. Number two, the moral ground which Mr. Trivedi has been talking about.
Why is it being done with a 15-day deadline?
Based on his ill-founded notion that the UPA is not going to come into power, and this great hurry of the BJP and the NDA, assuming that they are the only party competent to come to power in 2014, is certainly ill-founded, and therefore if he comes to such ridiculous
Rahul, be logical.
That this government does not have the moral
Please be logical.
authority.
I request you and Mr. Kesavan not to be swayed by your political loyalties, to retain your sense of logic in your argument.
Arnab,
both of you are not being logical today.
What is the what grounds does the opposition have? Are they saying that this government does not have the authority to make these appointments, or they are saying it's morally wrong for this government to make these appointments? Let them clarify this point, and I'll give you an answer on both these accounts.
I'll let the BJP answer that. I mean, the question is that look at information commissioners. The term of the information commissioners is 5 years, which is the same tenure as that of the next government in power, whatever it may be, which lends itself to the possibility that the information commissioner who has been appointed by you in a panel in which who may be lenient to you, whatever the dispensation is. So you are afraid that if the government goes after you, you have your people in the key jobs. Come on, be logical tonight. Both you and Mr. Kesavan have no argument today.
Arnab, I need to come in here. No, I've been waiting for a long time.
Yes, Mr. Kesavan, come in. But argue logically.
I'll be logical, I'll be clinical, I'll be analytical. 1 second, my friend, let me complete. First to my friend, Trivedi ji. See, please, the BJP should not give a certificates and pontificate about moral grounding and moral high ground after delaying the Lokayukta appointment for 10 years. Kindly, the people are watching you, don't try to hoodwink them, it will boomerang. And I think this whole action of trying to, question the credibility and the authority of the government is to kind of cover up snoopgate, where you have been in real problem. And I think once the snoopgate probe happens, I think you're going to be in a soup, you're trying to hide it. But I'll come back first to the issue of the search committee of the Lokpal you talked about. Let us understand one thing, Arnab. You please read
I have
the
a
act.
fact check.
No, I'm coming to the fact.
I have to correct you. I have to correct you on fact. The fact is that the government of India, your government, has told the Supreme Court that it is not in a rush to appoint the Lokpal. Why then do you have a tearing hurry to appoint the search committee? the search committee shortlist the candidates for the Lokpal. Understand
Oh,
what
please, Arnav,
sense
it's a
does it
process.
make to
Please,
rush to
please
form a
understand
search
the act.
committee?
Please
Mr.
understand
Kesavan, your
the act.
argument
This
is
can never be done
crumbling
within
right
3
before
months.
your eyes.
No, let me complete. No, you have to let people speak. You please see how the procedure works. The search committee will shortlist names from the DOPT, pass it on to the selection committee. Selection committee will vet and appoint. You think this is going to happen within a month? Oh, please, let's be practical and look at the procedural issues. This can never happen within a month. The search committee is going to go through rigorous work. So let us not jump to conclusions that as soon as this is going to be done, and the government has made it stand very clear that it's not constituted in the search committee. But I'll come to the issue here. You know,
I then ask you one question and you give me an answer to that, Mr. Kesavan. Just one question to you, please.
Go ahead,
and this
Arnav.
really, because your argument is beginning to crumble right before your eyes. But what I'm going to say next, Mr. Kesavan, what I'm going to point out next, Mr. Kesavan, with some respect to you and to Rahul Narvekar, will demolish your argument completely. And this is the fact, Mr. Kesavan, and prove me wrong otherwise. Is it true that the Congress party in Punjab had complained to the Election Commission in 2012 when the state government had recommended 4 information commissioners for appointment to the governor?
I'm not aware of the fact.
Oh, you are not aware of it. I can tell you, look back at your archives. Look back at the news
candid.
stories of February 11, 2012 with the Punjab government seeking the approval of Governor Shivraj Patil to appoint 4 new information commissioners. The Congress party on Friday knocked at the doors of the Election Commission saying it's a violation of the Model Code of Conduct. You said that in Punjab. In Punjab you said you cannot do this. Today you come on national television and you say we want to do this.
No.
Come on, Mr. Kesavan. Not only does your argument not hold, it is an act of hypocrisy tonight for you to be taking this position. Sudhanshu Trivedi wants to rebut you now. Sudhanshu Trivedi. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Let me answer. You just posed a question.
I would like to ask Mr. Kesavan, who is trying to...
Sudhanshu ji, I need to answer. No, he asked me a question.
I would like to ask Mr.
Please give me a minute, sir. Please give me a minute, sir. Please give me a minute. I'll come back.
Okay,
I'll come
give
back
you a
and
minute,
listen to
but
your
admit
question.
you are wrong.
Arnav, first thing. Arnav, please understand one thing. The ultimate arbiter in the Model Code of Conduct is the Election Commission. Have they raised any issue? That is the issue here. We are adhering to the code of the Election Commission as they prescribed from March 5th. If there is anything wrong, if there is any transgression, if there is any
You believe in
violation,
non-political appointments?
Going to pull up and
You believe in non-political appointments?
Let me speak politically. Let me speak.
You believe in non-political appointments? Then my counter question is.
Let me speak politically to you. You're ascribing.
Sir, today your argument is shaky.
Insurance. Your
argument is shaky tonight.
Let me complete. You let me complete, Arnav. Let me complete, sir. What I'm
You're
saying
shaken
is this.
with the facts.
You say that we are doing it, we have not at all. Please let me complete. Don't taunt me, sir. I need to answer. See, if you think we have an axe to grind, you think when the whole nation is watching us, when everybody in the media is watching us, we're going to do a hit wicket? When the whole public is watching us, why will we knowingly do something which is wrong and which is going to be pulled up by the Election Commission?
Because you have a history of it. Because you have a history of it.
No,
because historically speaking, the Congress party wants plant officers who does its bidding. The Congress party does not want strong officers who are politically unbiased and not be favorable to it. And I'll give you one more example.
Now I should get a
Sudhanshu
chance.
Trivedi is coming in. I'll give one example.
Even today, one more
Okay,
point.
one second. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, both coming in. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
Mr. Kesavan, who is trying to become the champion of austerity and probity in public life in the name of Lokpal, I would like to put one question. Our government of Uttarakhand, General Khanduri, brought the Lokpal with here, which was hailed by even Anna. When your government came, you have turned down that. This was your commitment for the Lokpal. And when we were in the opposition on the issue of CVC Thomas, our leader of the opposition, Sushma Swaraj, put her resistance. You overruled that. Finally, it was quashed by court. In the same manner, during the Lokpal Search Committee, she objected, but you tried to overrule that. Finally, the judge himself walked out. So this is your commitment for austerity and probity, and what you are saying, this is your consistent track record for misusing the constitutional appointees. And Mr. Rahul Narvekar is sitting with you. I would like to remind one more example. In year 2000, Maharashtra election, we were having the government at center and Mr. P.C. Alexander was the governor. BJP Shiv Sena alliance was the biggest pre-poll alliance. NCP Congress came afterwards. They were having one or two MLAs ahead, but we have
let's not get into that.
The governor.
We know the equation
with
Mr. PC Alexander and the BJP at that point of time. So your political standing then and what you're saying today does not hold ground.
What does not hold ground, Rahul? Is it not true? Now I'll give another example.
We know
how
the
to give another example.
We know how the Shiv Sena and Bharatiya Janata Party nominated Mr. PC Alexander to the Rajya Sabha. Therefore, equation with between Mr. PC Alexander and the BJP is well known to everyone at large.
There are several examples of misuse of the constitutional position by the UPA government.
After my last example, all the enthusiasm of the Congress spokesperson in admitting, in claiming, Mr. Kesavan, you are claiming today that we want honest, unbiased officers. I would like to ask the former Cabinet Secretary of India and the former CIC who are on the program today whether it is true or not that after Manmohan Singh came to power in 2004, they replaced Kamal Pandey, appointed by the NDA as Cabinet Secretary, and put BK Chaturvedi in his place, despite Mr. Pandey having 5 more months to go to complete his tenure. And he was sent off to the Interstate Council, and the Petroleum Secretary BK Chaturvedi was brought in as Cabinet Secretary. Why do you remove a person as Cabinet Secretary when he has 5 more months to go? A person serves the government of India faithfully for over 4 decades. He becomes Cabinet Secretary, and just because the dispensation changes, you remove him. Mr. Narvekar, these are cold facts. This is not political rhetoric.
No, you tell me, why was the Chief Secretary of Maharashtra changed in 1995?
They are so cold that they send a chill up the spine of your argument. These are cold facts. Now, Mr.
These are similar facts to the
Mr. Subramaniam can claim I'm wrong.
These are similar facts.
Mr. Subramaniam, am I wrong?
Secretary and the Home Secretary of the Government of India is stipulated having 2 years complete term. You must be aware about the rules.
Oh, please.
I have a minute left, Mr. Subramaniam.
Chief Secretary remains in the office till the pleasure of the Chief Minister. But for Cabinet Secretary, 2 years term is there.
Mr. Subramaniam.
Arnab, I now find that the letter of the law has now become the first refuge of people who want to do whatever they want, rather than decency, morality, propriety, etc. It's an unfortunate fact that many officers also become political. Unfortunate fact that parties want and pick and choose them very, very carefully for constitutional and other posts so that they would get their help. And we regret to say that if you see the history of the last 10 years, every single scam, you see the 2G scam, 2 secretaries refused to play ball.
That's
the third
the point.
secretary was brought in within a week. He agreed
That's
immediately.
at the core.
And you saw that Parak got the change. We got the change in the law, and you found that the change of auction was not permitted for 8 years. It is the catastrophe that took place in the country. So they want people in posts of position and power, and it is the first degree of morality. If
okay, last word to Shailesh Gandhi.
They should wait. If they are not sure, they should wait, and then decency demands that whoever comes next will do the posting.
But it's an opportunity for bureaucrats also to say we don't want to commit at last-minute appointments to fill in the shoes, just as political appointments. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be interim arrangements.
Where is
Mr. Gandhi, will any bureaucrat do that?
Arnab, where is integrity?
It can be very.
And my politician friends who probably shout a lot, they are all forgetting that what is decent, what is right is being forgotten. And my appeal to them is, please think of India, think of India's future, and think of how you will get out of this kind of mess of having political patronage being dished out in this blatant and brazen manner. This is not good for the nation, and I think the politicians should also think of the nation, not just people like Mr. Subramaniam and myself. I think they owe it to the nation.
Okay. Rahul Narvekar, C.R. Kesavan, Sudhanshu Trivedi, Shailesh Gandhi and T.S.R. Subramaniam. I thank you for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight. Thank you.